Hello everybody. Thanks for being here. This is my installation called Check for Effect, Memos from the Mothership. These are about 50 of my drawings. I basically denuded the walls of the cottage where I live in Stony Run, PA, and brought them here on some purely Ooftonic and or Mothershipian notion. And I wrote about 5,000 words because they all tell a story, alone and together. We're going to take a look at them, words and image in sequence, and check for effect. So thanks again in advance for viewing these memos from the Mothership. I honor your time and attention. My name is Dr. Tom, and why don't you come on in, have a look around. Okay, we'll start with the Ooftah portraits. These are drawings in Pentel Energel pen and Sharpie that I did between April and December 2006. Definition: Sconsiltucky, Ooftah, and Fida. Sconsiltucky is the state of mind where we reside. Some of us play music in a band called the Sconsiltucky Ooftah Boys, the SOBs. Before the dream, Ole here came from Wisconsin. I come from Pennsyltucky. That's where Sconsiltucky comes from. It has been our good fortune to be the discoverers of the Ooftah dream. Out in Wisconsin, the way Ole explains it, when folks pick up something heavy or have something unpleasant to do, like haul the ashes, they are liable to exclaim "Ooftah" in exasperation. And when they put down the load or give up the nasty task, they sigh "Fida" in relief. Then again, I was recently given a faintly Amish-looking plaque that rocks the following prayer. May the good Lord keep you from any and all unnecessary ooftahs today. Then again, I first encountered the word Ooftah on Ken Burns' jazz documentary when Ozzie Davis defined it as the way some black people acted around some white people to keep them off their backs. Now there's a genius of trickery in that, of foolery and outsmartery that we in Sconsiltucky can savvy, because we want to keep white people off our backs too, just for starters. So all three of these archetypal myths of Ooftah and Fida fascinated me and Ole. We sensed symmetry in all their meanings, subtexts, and possibilities. It blew our cabbages back. Somewhere along the line, we woke up in the Sconsiltucky dream and found that we needed a verbal lodestone, our own ohm, to rally other dreamers. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Ooftah, and the Word was Ooftah. We say Ooftah and Fida to each other a lot in Sconsiltucky. Call and response mantra for an alternative universe, baby. Makes us feel good. Might want to try it yourself. No sweat. These are some portraits I drew of the Ooftah people we all live with. Self-portrait. This is kind of like a desk mask, a death mask from what I've seen of them. I drew this on the front page of a short story anthology in a college class I was teaching one time. Colored it in back at the Stony Run cottage where I live. Cut the eyes out with X-Acto knife and glued it on the inside cover of the original Ooftah portrait notebook that I can show you. I got it here. The epitaph is paraphrased from the introduction to an edition of Herman Melville's White Jacket. I pray to Herman Melville and all the hip dead every day at the end of my rosary, and I walk with them in the garden of the upside-down trees in Sconsiltucky, even as you look at this. Chongo the oil snake. Everybody who shows up in Sconsiltucky gets a Sconsiltucky handle, an alias under which he, she can move about in complete freedom and not get any grief for it. This is Chongo the oil snake, the former doorman at the late great Sconsiltucky Speakeasy. Now he's Chongo the oil snake, pilgrim settler of Fort Sconsiltucky Phase 2. He used to be called Chongo the Snake Oil, see? But then his tail sprouted that spurting derrick, and I had to change his name. Osley the Wizard. Osley was there in the beginning of the dream, right there with the Ooftah boys. A real wizard, this former proprietor of the late great Sconsiltucky Speakeasy, even then with the loyal Chongo at his side, has been at the vanguard of the shaky Fort Sconsiltucky Renaissance. The originator of Sconsiltucky bathrobe chic and his trademark "Silence!" holla, Osley has recently taken up a comprehensive study of fish poop rocks. It's deep. Only he and I get it, even a little bit. Osley the Wizard is currently working on his first novel about his private parts. Oolong Petey Wheatstraw, the devil's brother-in-law and sheriff of Sconsiltucky. Oolong was an underground term used in Kerouac's On the Road. It's a kind of tea. I borrowed the Petey Wheatstraw part from the great 70s blaxploitation flick, where Petey was the devil's son-in-law. Oolong was there in the way back too, like Osley. Oolong was the law in those days. Brought a gun to our shows, our music gigs, and kept people in line. Oolong shot me through the head a couple of times when I needed it, which startled a lot of people at shows. Though I still do a fair amount of mum farming with him in the summertime, I don't see much of Oolong these days. I think he gave up lawing and took up something else. Butane Bob, Deputy Sheriff of Sconsiltucky. Naturally, this is, or was, Oolong's sidekick back in the day, when there was something like law and order in Sconsiltucky. Butane Bob was not to be messed with. Always in deputy cap with regulation sidearm and itchy finger. But it's already been a long time since Butane turned in his cap and gun to Oolong Pete, saying he no longer believed in the Sconsiltucky dream. He wound up moving out altogether, and now calls himself Deacon Dynamite Rob, and is a bit of an explosives freak on a neighboring planet. I'm pretty sure he gave up lawing too.